This video is going to be a follow-up to the video I posted a couple of weeks ago titled Setting Boundaries with Toxic Family Members. And I'm mostly making this because I recently had a person in conversation about this topic basically tell me that I should be the bigger person regardless of whether or not someone might be abusive or narcissistic or whatever. And obviously, I took significant issue with that type of response. They obviously were a little uncomfortable with the fact that I said, like, it's okay to set boundaries, that, if you need to block someone on social media, go for it. That's what I've had to do. And the truth is, societally speaking, I know that when it comes to conversations about mental health and toxic family members, there are still people who aren't willing to acknowledge the fact that sometimes setting a boundary is the best thing that a person can do for their mental health. And if you are one of those people who does struggle with family members or even friends who are toxic, who are narcissistic, it's completely acceptable to set a boundary because your mental health matters, right? And I don't really think that a person should necessarily be obligated to have a conversation with that person first either. If they have exhibited abusive behavior and they are saying or doing horrible things to you, you don't owe that person anything. You don't owe that person a conversation. And I think equating just dealing with it or sticking it out as some sort of like higher level maturity, like I just think that that's the most unfathomable extent of gaslighting that could possibly exist. And for anyone who ever says that, like, I try to call them out on it because like if someone's experiencing a trouble, you have no right to tell them necessarily like, oh, get over it, like it's not that big of a deal, or get over it, these people are dear to you, or whatever. And mind you, like, I understand things can change, situations can change, like maybe you set a boundary with somebody and maybe things get better with that person. That's completely fine. But this is strictly about people who refuse to do better, who refuse to actively hold themselves accountable and be accepting or better people, etc. People who are well aware of their problematic behavior, especially. But even if they're unaware of it, like I said earlier, you don't owe that person any sort of explanation. I don't really think that you should need to set them down to do the educating for them when they are fully capable of coming to that understanding themselves. All right. So to any person who is struggling with a family member or a friend who is toxic and you need to set a boundary, it's completely okay to do so. You are completely valid, your feelings are valid, and you are not being irrational or overdramatic at all, okay? If you are one of those people who's very quick to just dismiss someone else's experiences and say like, oh, get over it, or oh, be the bigger person, I would actually say that being the bigger person entails having the self-worth and the foresight in order to know what's best for you, first and foremost. And if that means setting a boundary with someone, then that means setting a boundary. So I think that that's actually being the bigger person. But that's just me. Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you disagree or agree or whatever, feel free to elaborate. I appreciate the conversation. Click like on this video. Feel free to share it around. Go subscribe if you've not subscribed yet. And go follow me on Threads. I now have an account on Threads at Donnie Winter. So thank you all. I love you and have a great rest of your day.